stories, how you use them.
T-minus 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
All right, hello. I found my board, and we have today, I'm going to do a little bit of a case study, but the case study I'm going to do on is about management tips that are coming. A lot of times we see great stories in the media. They're talking about a CEO, and because the stock is up, he or she must be a genius. Well, maybe not. But let's go take a look. One that I like, there's a lot of stuff that came out recently about the leadership and management style according to Jensen Huang, who is the CEO of Nvidia. There he is right there, wearing that black leather jacket he always wears for demos or talking to the media. He's turned that black leather jacket into the uniform of the $3 trillion man, driving Nvidia to dizzying heights. So let's go take a look at Nvidia leadership. There's some headlines recently that came out, and you guys are pretty alert, as usual, asking about what makes him better than the guy at Intel, than the guy at AMD, a lot of these chip makers. And the answer is, I don't know. What makes him better than Microsoft? I don't know. But, you know, what makes one better than the other? But we can talk about what they do, what's driven their company, and maybe we can learn some things on ourselves. First, Nvidians, and apparently this is what they call themselves if you work for Nvidia. Nvidians say Jensen Huang is a perfectionist who asks tough questions and expects people to admit mistakes. Okay, pretty clear. Elon Musk praises Jensen Huang's leadership style, saying absolutely the right attitude. And so what he's talking about was his leadership style, and we're going to go into those points here, but there is an article that was written, and apparently Elon Musk read that, and then they picked it up in mainstream media about how Elon Musk was praising it. Then, Fortune, Jensen Huang created a unique culture at Nvidia that allows the AI chip leader to move very fast. So we're seeing perfectionists, you admit your mistakes, things look good to, old Elon Musk, and we got to move fast. Well, because chips is technology, you do have to move fast. So let's go take a look at what's behind this. First of all, something is working because Jensen is leading a leader. And this is what it is, 5 years, up 3,000% over 5 years. They just had a 10-to-1 split because the stock, you recall, was like 1,200. Now it's at 124 right there. And so 5 years ago, for every dollar you put in, you would have $3,000 today. Holy guacamole, that's a lot of cabbage. So something's working, because the company's going there. So for Wall Street Journal and Barron's and other magazines and media to be calling out and saying, wow, what a great leader he is, somebody is leading this and they're leading it for the better. So let's go take a look at it. So Jensen, in his own words, and I'm going to read these as we read along together. No task is beneath me. Remember, I used to be a dishwasher. I used to clean toilets. That's life. So you can't show me a task that's beneath me. So he shows his people that he's willing to do any of that. Now, is he doing dishes at Nvidia, and is he a janitor doing this? No. But his point is no task is beneath him. Creating a basic presentation, doing things, looking over code reviews, nothing is beneath him. And so his point is, I'm not an elitist, I am with you, and I'm willing to dive in and process with you. That's a great quality because it says that I'm not working for someone that fancies himself now to be the monarch of the kingdom. He's willing to come down here with the knights and the bishops and the serfs and work with us. Then I don't believe in a culture, in an environment where the information you possess is a reason why you have power. This is very, very big. Let's dive into it. Sometimes people have control over information, control over dollars, and they use it to create power for themselves. And so his point is, no. We have to empower all of us to get the job done, because what did we see that Fortune pointed out? Speed. How do you get speed? Eliminate roadblocks. How do you eliminate roadblocks? Get people talking, get information shared freely. Now everybody can go rock and get things done. Then I show people how to reason through things all the time. strategy things, how to forecast, how to break a problem down, and you're just empowering people all over the place. So guess what? He's not allowing leaders just to say, I will make the decision, I will do it. There's a hierarchy and there's decision making at Nvidia, but he's pointing out, get people empowered, let them surprise you, let them drive. So this is him in his own words. From this, he also pointed out the principles he follows. So now, regarding management. He says you should manage a lot of people. He said he has 50 direct reports. Many of them are technologists, and no one-on-ones because daily connection points should cover things. I think one-on-ones are important because you can have more sensitive conversations. You can have conversations about people that the person needs to hire, needs to get to. But I agree that a one-on-one each week, every week is not necessarily mandatory, and it's not necessarily effective if you're talking to your people and you're trading information and feedback on a real-time, casual basis. Then, send short emails and expect short, specific replies. I love this. It reminds me also of in the everything store where, Jeff Bezos would just bark at people and says, that answer starts with a number, not with an excuse. And as I like to say, modifying that answer starts with a number and ends with a date. Like, when will you have it and how many will you have? Guess what? He says, send short emails and expect short, specific replies. I read a VP that was interviewed in one of the large business publications that said she sent him like a long explanation of why it wasn't happening, and that ended her up in his office very quickly, where he said, what are you telling me? You deal with that on a day. I sent you a short email with a question. I wanted an answer. Why it's not happening? If we want to do that, then you and I will talk about it and we'll get to the bottom of it, and you and your team will fix it. Wow, look at that. That's like wartime. We don't have time to discuss why. The enemies are trying to come take our stuff, take our market share, make better chips. We don't have time. So I love that. And it's an echo from our good friend Jeff Bezos as well. Lastly, speed of light execution. Green light means go. I love that. I gave you a green light. Now go execute, and execute with speed. Now put your controls in there so you got quality, you have it done right the first time, and all those things. Mistakes may happen, but don't make the same mistake twice. As Jeff Bezos will say, I don't mind big mistakes once, as long as the organization learns a ton and we don't make that mistake again. And that leader, especially, that mistake doesn't show up again. Now we're making mistakes more than once, which means that the leader is not developing, or the leader is not synthesizing the learning and putting themselves in a position to avoid the problem again. That's unacceptable. But speed of light execution, green light means go. I love that. Lastly, stay as flat as possible organizationally, because that way information flows better. It really bothers me when someone that's working for me, like a one person, only has one or two people working for them. Then I put that on me. I said, why shouldn't 3 people on a team be there? Or if I have a person that works for me, but they've got a team of 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's great efficiencies and I can see it happening, fantastic. I love it. But stay as flat as possible organizationally is a really good point. At Amazon, a VP, these people are like knights and dukes in the organization, because Amazon's also quite flat. Very interesting stuff. And acknowledge your limitations. Hey, I need this person on my team because I'm not an AI expert in this area, I don't have that. And the time it's going to take me to come up to speed on that and learn that on my own, we're not going to maintain speed on this project. So I need these 2 experts on my team. That's who I need. What Jensen Huang would say, thank you. Keep the organization flat, acknowledge your limitations, set yourself up for fast execution, and put as many people as you can in there, Tom, so that you can get it all done. You see how that works together? Can you picture that coming together? Because when I give you a green light, green means go get it done and make sure you have everybody you need to do it. So now then, what's the lessons for us in this case study? I sat back and I said, you know what can we all apply regardless of how big our organization is, right? First of all, whenever you see these articles that have CEOs on the cover, a lot of it is related to stock price and success. So my point, Those things tend to make celebrities, but not all are great leaders or managers. I spoke to many people over the years that actually had the privilege to work for Steve Jobs. You learned a lot working for him. You learned a lot working with him. You learned a lot about how he thought about product. But what you didn't get was a real exercise on management, because he was not a particularly good manager. He was a great vision, great driver, great leader, but in terms of managing, he was actually very hard on people and did not develop people well and depended on that next level. So when we see these wild successes and we read these articles, remember, not all of them are great leaders or managers. Jensen Huang happens to be one. Nadella at Microsoft happens to be one. You know, Bezos happens to be one, but there's a lot of examples that weren't. Your personality style is you, and it can evolve over time. I'm a more patient guy today after raising 1.5 daughters than I was 18 years ago when I had no daughters. But you can change your techniques of how you manage people. But my personality is always me. I'm a teacher, you know, I talk, I'm expressive. That's me, that's who Tom Ellsworth is. But I can change the techniques that I apply underneath based on the evolution of my career, my life, and myself as a manager and a leader. And know why you want to apply something. If you read something about someone, know why you want to do it. Why do I want to do it? Well, I've never proven to be able to duplicate more than one sales leader. I need 3. If that's you talking, guess what? Then you want to apply some things so that you can get replication of salespeople that are going to follow processes and do the kinds of things so that you can have a very strong, dynamic sales organization that performs at a high level. So know why you want to apply something. Know why you do it. And get feedback at all points, but make the decision yourself. If you're going to apply things that you've read about some of these great leaders, they may be great because the stock price is up, but they may not be perfect. Find out, where's your personality style? What needs to evolve for you? Why do you think this is something interesting to do? Does it just sound like the next cool thing? Don't do it. Get feedback, get board members, get advisors, get people together that says, you know what? I just read this article about Jensen Huang. He talked about flat organizations having a lot of people report. You know what? I think that kind of works in my small company. I think I may like to do this. What do you think? Get feedback like that from maybe your people you trust, advisors, and then at the very last minute, prepare the organization, because forced change can really be tough on people. So make sure they understand the why and what you're going to do. So I thought there were some very cool lessons for us in there as we take a look, quick little case study on Nvidia leadership and Jensen Huang. When you're looking at the future, you can look at the past, and from where they went, 3,000% up. $1 5 years ago would be $3,000 today on the stock market. Nvidia stock, not bad, and also not a bad guide to be listening to. So that's the case study on Nvidia and their leadership style. If you like that one, there's a couple more here from the Biz Doc archive that you could go check out and learn more as well. Until next time, I'm Tom Ellsworth with the Biz Doc, and I hope I left you better than I found you.